This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? WashableSofas.com has your back. Featuring the Anabay collection, the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slip covers made with performance fabrics. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Check out WashableSofas.com and get up to 60% off your Anabay sofa, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day is Melissa Burns, who teaches at North Star Mona Med ECC, and who folks told us strives every day to help children grow in confidence and curiosity. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
So a text messenger said, and he's right, this could be the crucial difference in the KOC case. It's allegedly a sham company, so it's not even a real company. Because, you can't always believe what artificial intelligence says, but AI did say a professional sports franchise owner can technically hire a player to work for another company the owner also owns, as there are no explicit laws preventing it, but it's subject to the owner's contract with the player, the sports league's specific rules, and potential conflicts of interest. And so it would be the league's rules, I think, would be it. Because, like I say, technically, there's no reason an owner couldn't hire a football player, baseball player, hockey player, whatever the case may be, to work for another company of his. But then to use it to circumvent the salary cap is kind of underhanded. I mean, it defeats the spirit of the whole salary cap and trying to keep everybody in a legal playing field. So my guess is, and we'll learn more because the people that have to really do this for a living, I'm sure they will explore all of that. And I'm sure there is somewhere in the bylaws of the National Football League that, But like, for instance, this one. Like I say, Teneby, let's say I own the team and you were a player, and I said, after your career is over. So 5 years goes by, and then I hire you for an exorbitant amount of money. How is anybody going to prove is there a window for that? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I just think there's, like almost anything, there's ways to get around almost everything if you work the system right. But we'll find out more of that. Right now, it's time for 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for multiple choice.
Which Twins-related headline in the Star Tribune would you most likely click on today? Common, would it be A, Twins routed 12-3 in 4th consecutive loss to White Sox?
Yes.
B, Twins set to shut down pitcher David Festa for remainder of season? Or C, Twins draw smallest September crowd in Target Field history in loss to White Sox?
Yeah. They're all negative. There's nothing positive about the Twins right now. Too bad about Festa. Kids trying to carve out a career. Has had some success. Then we used the word modicum yesterday, modicum. So to see him have to shut him down because of an injury, that's unfortunate for him. In the grand scheme of what that means to the team's one-loss record this year, it's academic. It doesn't matter. Losing to the White Sox, though, we talked about this. I asked you about 2 weeks ago, do you think we could catch the White Sox? We basically determined it would be almost impossible. I'm not so sure anymore now. I mean, I think we're only like 9 or 10 games above them. Now, that's a lot of ground to make up in a short period of time.
We're up 11 and a half.
11 and a half, yeah. See, so it's. I mean, it would have to be a collapse of epic proportions. And, of course, the White Sox would have to win a bunch of games.
I don't know if they could win 12 more games the rest of the year. Just them alone.
Yes, that's the issue. But you had to lose again to the White Sox.
But we're now the second worst record in the AL.
Yeah. It's
And did I see some of the teams, I think it's the White Sox and Rockies aren't eligible for the draft lottery for the number 1 pick this year.
Oh, really?
Because they've been in it so often.
No kidding.
So the Twins actually have a pretty good shot at the number 1 pick. They'll have a lot of ping pong balls for the draft lottery.
Do you think that if the Twins gave up that pick and I could guarantee they win a World Series, LaBelle would give that pick up, or do you think he would take it?
Yeah, that one's not aging well.
No. And, the attendants, the Poles get what they deserve. But again, it's not, when you're worth $4 or $5 billion, if you only sell 9,000 tickets to a game instead of 18, it's not the end of the world for them. But they're kind of getting what they deserve, right? You reap what you sow, as the old saying goes.
I don't know if it's possible because I don't know what their season ticket holder base is, but they were in the 10,000s last night. I want to get into 4 digits. I want to have one game where we're under 10,000 for.
I think you'll see that late in the year, especially if it's a Sunday afternoon game.
I mean, that would be a record.
If there's a Sunday afternoon game and the Vikings are playing, let's say it's a Sunday 1:00 game and the Vikings are playing at noon, there'll be 4,000 people in the stadium.
Well, the thing even with like last night, whenever the Twins have had bad attendance before, it's always, the weather's not good.
Yeah, right.
Weather was great last night. That was not an issue.
Spectacular last night.
So,
yeah, it's you reap what you
Let's
sow.
get under 5 digits. Come on, let's get to 4 digits.
Be all right with me.
Question number 2. It's time now for a look at the Lynx.
Hey, you brought this topic up earlier, which surprised me a little bit because I thought this was going to be a question you hadn't thought of yet. But the Minnesota Lynx have just 4 games remaining in the regular season. They've already clinched the number 1 overall seed for the playoffs. If the Lynx win out and finish 36-8, they will have an 81.8% winning rate for the regular season, their second best in franchise history, behind the 82.4% in 2016, and their 36 wins would be the most in WNBA history. Common, how should the Lynx approach the final 4 games? Get some rest or finish strong?
You didn't think I was a deep enough thinker, did you?
I just hadn't thought you put any thought into it.
I really hadn't. I just saw a headline from one of the Fish Wrap Factory writers that basically did the rest or rust. Might have been one of the columnists. I don't know, because that's a tried and true
cliched.
It's a tried and true storyline that there is there's something to it. There's some substance to it. I've always felt though that if you're a quality team, and obviously the Lynx they're one of the best teams in the league. That means you have a lot of really good players, and they've all been playing their entire life. I just think that if you gave your starters 2 games off at the end of the year, and there's let's say there's 2 days between the games, that's 4 days, and then the playoffs start 4 days later, it's 8 days off. Are they going to come out there and go, God, I forgot how to dribble. I don't know how to play defense. I think that's a little overrated. I'm not saying there isn't something to it, but I think it's negligible. I really do. I think, especially you're going to be playing more than likely, if they're the 1 seed, are they going to play an 8 or a 6, or I don't know how many teams are in the playoffs. I would rather rest my players, particularly if they talk about all these sports, that all the players at this time of the year and all sports got some nicks and bruises, bumps and bruises, and so if you have people that they've been playing on a bad ankle for about the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, they're able to do it. You tape it up and go play. If you can give them 8 days off, I'd rather give them the 8 days off than worry about having rust personally. But you played the game at a high level in hockey, and you coach, so maybe you have a different opinion. But I would err on giving them more rest than.
I think it's hard to have a generalized take on it because each team has different circumstances, right? I think you nailed it, right? Like I don't know the health of every single gal on this team.
Right.
But I know Nafisa Collier just came back from a somewhat significant ankle injury.
Right.
She might need the reps.
Yeah.
Or, might need to rest. Maybe it's still not 100%.
Yeah. And like in her case, because she's an MVP, I don't think she needs the reps. I could be wrong. I have to ask her. I just don't think it's like.
Yeah.
I just don't think she's going to need. I don't think it's going to affect her ability to play. They're going to go, man, she looks like she hasn't played in weeks. I just don't believe that.
And then you just do an inter-squad scrimmage if you need the reps.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Question number 3. Vision. For the division.
We're finally on our last division as we're one day away from the National Football League season beginning. Common, who will win the NFC West? I think this is a hard one.
I wish we were doing the AFC West so I could say Denver. Oh, by the way, did you know when I looked at that same CBS poll, where they had all the writers, every single one of them picked Kansas City to win the division.
Well, yeah.
I know. And Rosen, now it's Denver's time. I just think that's funny.
How many players on the Denver Broncos do you think he can name?
None. That's the Rams. I think will be. They were really good last year. I think San Francisco's, Seattle, and who else they have?
And then Arizona. So I don't think there's a basement dweller in there.
No.
But I also don't know if there's an elite team in there.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are very capable, but this back stuff Matthew Stafford's had the last month or so is worrying me a little bit if I'm a Rams fan. Seattle might be the team that drops just because they went through a coaching change, new quarterback. We'll see if Darnold can continue the success without quarterback whisperer. I think Arizona might surprise some people this year. That's kind of my sneaky team out of the NFC West.
I'll go Rams. And if Stafford is physically hampered to the point where he's ineffective or can't even play,
that changes things.
I would change things, but I'd still go with the Rams. There's your 5, 3, 4.
That's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
One text messenger said, no mention of the Twins pitcher that made the insane play yesterday, and I'll respond to that by saying, what is that old saying? I know they have in Texas, they did in Tennessee. If a tree falls in a forest and no one's there, does it make a sound?
I mean,
if no one's watching the Twins game and not aware of an insane play, and there have been a lot of insane plays made over the decades. We'll break, we'll come back and tap dance. Head coach, soon to be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, scheduled to address the media at about 1:20. We'll listen to what he has to say next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Actor and comedy legend Adam Sandler is coming to XL Energy Center October 22nd. From Happy Gilmore to Billy Madison, he's bringing the laughs live. Want to win your way in? Check out KFAN.com keyword contest for your shot at tickets. That's KFAN.com keyword calendar to enter today.
Then I'm going to ask you a question. It's a tough choice.
Yeah.
Front row seats to Adam Sandler or sit on a Power Trip morning show initials game?
Power Trip initials.
Yeah, that would do that. Because that's always a lot of fun.
I like a lot of Adam Sandler's movies. I'm a big Happy Gilmore guy. I'm a big Billy Madison guy. I don't know if, like, stand-up is the thing of his I want to go see.
Yeah. But it might be really
fun. But it's going to be hilarious. You can win your way in at KFAN.com.
How about if the Power Trip was there?
Well, obviously. I mean, I've seen their stand-up before. It's unbelievable.
Why don't I say it this way, Tenneby? I think J.J. McCarthy there will be times during the season he'll look like Josh Allen. There's going to be times he looks like Tua Tagovailoa. There are times he's going to look like, I mean, I'm not going to go to the Tim Tebow bit. I don't think he's going to be, I really don't think he'll be awful. I don't think. I think he's going to end up having a nice career. I just don't know how nice of a career it is. I mean, there's a lot of, like, for instance, Jared Goff has had a nice career, right? Got to a big game. A lot of that has to do with the defense, but he's had a nice career. I don't think anybody's going to go, Jared Goff, man, one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen play. But he was effective. He was good. Quality. Still is a good player. But he's still not there. You've heard me say this, Tennessee. God, just the way I just judge quarterbacks. I really do. You heard me do it 100 times. A minute, 2 seconds. Yeah, hundreds. A minute and 2 seconds to go. You're on your own 12. Hostile territory. And you got no timeouts. Will he be a guy you'd go, boy, I'd love to see JJ. Well, let's hope so, because that's really what you want to see. Can a guy calmly, coolly, confidently guide his club down the field and take him to that winning score? A lot of players can do it, but there's more that can't. You know, they make that ill-advised throw where you just go, dude, how do you throw that? You can't panic like that. You gotta eat that ball or throw it out of bounds. You can't throw that ball into double coverage. Just hope, gotta do something. Now, if it's 4th and 17 and you're being sacked, then you just throw it and hope for some luck. But I guess, put it this way, the only player, I can't think of a player in recent history that I've really been more curious about watching play to see what he's like than I have with McCarthy. Because last year, do you think Tenneby, he was in the running to be the starting quarterback if he outperformed Darnold? I think he was, right? I don't think Darnold was set in stone as being the guy, right? Or,
I don't think he was set in stone, but I think he had the edge.
Yeah.
But like I've said before McCarthy got hurt, there were reports, because they had the joint practices versus the Cleveland Browns the following week.
Right.
The reports that he was going to get some looks with the ones.
Yes.
Which to me would go, well, there's an indication that they might have a belief that he could still be the starting quarterback this year.
So, yeah, they've seen something in him. And look, it's everybody seems to believe. I get this one again. How do you know all this about McCarthy and you've never seen him play? And how do you know more about him than the Vikings do? You don't really think the Vikings, O'Connell's going to come out today and go, we're really not sure about JJ. We might have made a mistake drafting him. Come on, dude, be smarter than that. And every team that's ever drafted a guy will tell. That's why they drafted him. They think he's going to be brilliant. But if every player drafted in the NFL ended up being as good as the team that expected, the Hall of Fame would have to triple, quadruple, quintuple. What's after quintuple? Sextuple?
Sextuple.
Is there a seventuple? In size, because all these players would be brilliant. And they call me lazy. I mean, come on. Of course they're going to say they think the guy's going to be great. And he very well could be. And he says, how do you know all this about J.J. McCarthy? I don't know it about J.J. McCarthy. What I'm saying is I don't know enough because I've not seen him play. None of us have seen him play in a regular season NFL game, nor have the Vikings. There'll be some growing pains. I mean, I would think even fans of McCarthy, people that either think he's going to be good, want him to be good, know he's going to be good, I would think maybe they feel like he's going to come out of the gate right away and be brilliant start to finish. You know, like this his first game coming out, he's going to be spectacular. It's going to be nothing but blue skies from now on. I think there'll be some struggles. I think I don't know of many quarterbacks didn't have a little bit of a learning curve. It's just how long is that curve? Is it a long and winding road, or is it a straight and narrow? Someone says a lot of people are weighing in on what they think McCarthy is going to be. This one says somewhere between a Trevor Lawrence and a Jared Goff. What would you think of that?
There's not a lot between those two, I don't think. I mean, Goff is a borderline top 10 quarterback, and Lawrence is considered kind of middle of the pack at this stage, like 16th.
I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be a lot like Joe Flacco. What would you think, Tennessee, if you had a Joe Flacco-like career?
I would be thrilled with that. Stylistically, I don't know if that's the same, but if he has the savviness of Flacco, I think he has the athleticism in other areas, so that would be very good for him. He can run a little bit better than Joe Flacco.
Yeah. This guy says I'd compare McCarthy to Tua Tagovailoa. Here's another one, and let's hope this isn't. And I don't think. I mean, I've got enough. I'll just call it a hunch, but he says this whole thing has got Gino Torretta written all over it. Let's hope not.
Torretta was like a 7th-round pick.
Yeah, well, and not only was a 7th round, but it just didn't turn out at all. It was, he was literally awful. No coach yet?
No coach yet. So I say we just get the break out of the way.
Do you think he'll even speak at all today? We'll find out. We'll take a break, come back with more Common Man Program on the Fan.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? WashableSofas.com has your back. Featuring the Anabay collection, the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabrics. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Check out WashableSofas.com and get up to 60% off your Anabay sofa, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
14 past. I'm Comedy's Tennessee, and just like clockwork, the head coach of the soon-to-be Big Game World Champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, live from the TCO Performance Center.
Good afternoon, everybody. Obviously, you put a lot of time and energy into the off-season program, the training camp we were able to have, which was a really positive one. Our team grew a lot, and there was a lot of improvement across the board. But you do it all for game week, which we are now in, and very much looking forward to continuing our preparation that's already started, but continuing that as we get some really good days of work this week. Going to be a challenge. Expecting great energy, and excitement for the home team there, an NFC North game to kick off the season, and the most competitive division in football. Every team feels really good about their organization and where they're at, and every time these teams play, including Monday night, it's going to be a competition at the highest levels of our league, I think. So we've got to prepare our team to go on the road and try to find a way to win a football game against a really good team. Just finished up walkthrough. Everybody participated in the walkthrough outside of. Harrison Smith participated in the walkthrough. He will not practice today, but the hope is we can ramp him up. He's back in the building and meetings and building up his workload for the week. So we'll see where he's at throughout the remainder of the week. But with that, I'll turn it to you guys.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your training?
Kevin, how do you prepare a quarterback to face what JJ is going to see Monday? Primetime game, his hometown, first time rolling out there as a starter?
Yeah, I mean, like those are a lot of things that, don't really necessarily have to do with him doing his job. And, we've tried to build a world where running the offense and playing quarterback is a collection of really small things. Some would even consider them routine things. And can we do the routine things routinely? And then as the clear, obviously it's different than, the Egan practice fields here, or anything he's experienced, at least in the NFL. I think he's got a lot of really good experience, at the collegiate level in front of 100,000+ people. But it's still Monday Night Football. Everything you said, all of that, we don't just start talking about playing quarterback in the NFL this week for him. It's about doing a lot of the things that make up playing quarterback for us in our offense, with the guys in the huddle with him who were really excited about that group. And then just, locking in on the nuances and subtleties of the game plan, that hopefully by Monday night we can make them as routine as possible. Then the ball gets kicked off, and he knows he's definitely not going to be alone out there from a standpoint of the coaching staff and myself, right there with him. Maybe me too much sometimes in his ear via the coach to quarterback system. But I know those 10 guys in the huddle, regardless of who's in the game, those guys are excited for number 9 to come in and call that first play.
Kevin, what did you see during training camp from the running game and just how much different that might look with Jordan and Aaron as a duo? Yeah,
I think it starts with the guys up front. And Jo and TJ and Ben, and just the way we were able to, against a pretty physical front with the additions we made on the defensive line, really feel like we were starting to understand the why and the what behind what we want to do, but then ultimately it's a fundamentals, technique, and play style thing to want to win the line of scrimmage and move people, and then you've got to have above the neck, you got to understand good NFL defenses, which any defense that Dennis Allen coaches is going to be a really good one schematically, challenging to go against. So we've got to be able to play pre-snap the right way, communicate, and then be ready to play with the right footwork, great first step, hand usage, all the little details that very similar to kind of what we talked about with JJ. Each guy has their own job within plays, and our run game throughout training camp really felt like we were really starting to grasp that. I think even on some days where maybe from the outside looking in, or in that comfortable 10 up on the hill, it might have been more about a lot of the things involving JJ, but on a daily basis, I was seeing some really good things in the run game as we built up, and now we've got to go do it for real. And against a super talented front, they added some pieces. They've always been a really hard front to run the ball against, just because of not only personnel on the front, 2 really good linebackers, safeties that love getting involved in the fit, and corners that know how to tackle as well. So, from a standpoint of the personnel, then you throw in, a guy's experience as Dennis Allen is running a scheme, practicing against a really good offense every day. They're going to be prepared, and we're going to have to play well to move the football for sure.
When you throw it in there, when you have rookie offensive lineman, Monday Night Football, Dennis Allen defense, what's the conversation like with Donovan Jackson this week of coaching points, just to make sure he's ready to take all that on?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things, when I think about it. One of the reasons it's been so seamless for him is the transition from when he first got here to his first reps in training camp, and then the days that followed of constant improvement, rep over rep improvement, sometimes in the same period, in the same drill. He might get beat on something or be more over aggressive, and a veteran player like John Allen or Hargrave uses that against him, and kind of he learns how to improve many times without having to go upstairs, watch the tape, and have a fundamentals and indie period to fix it. And that's what is really encouraging. I also think it's encouraging the guy he's playing next to, Ryan Kelly, and just the steadiness that he brings across the board for all the young players that are in the huddle with him.
you see what you needed to see from Christian Darrisaw throughout the course of training camp and in the past couple of weeks to feel like he's in a good spot?
Yeah, I know he's he had a great camp, checked every box from a workload standpoint building into this week. He'll practice today, and we've always with CD, just with how committed he's been to taking the daily approach, we've done the same with him. So we're, going to progress as forward and be smart, but we're going to give him every opportunity to practice and then see how he feels. And then ultimately, in regards to his availability, we'll make that decision as the week progresses.
Kevin, how do you feel these days about the third emergency quarterback designation? And do you feel it can continue to be useful to you this season?
I think it's a really good thing we did, as a league. And I think Max is the perfect example of the guy that, although he's maybe the third guy and can only play under certain circumstances, he's in the building yesterday with JJ, and they're going through the game plans as they're being kind of finalized, and we're presenting them with information that they can go then take on their own and kind of get a head start before we can have them today. And then knowing just a lot of the things that Max did throughout training camp with limited reps, in case that's why they call it the emergency. If it was a situation like that, I can tell you right now, I would have a lot of confidence that Max could go in and do the things required to move the team. And that's why our quarterback room looks the way it does. That's why Max clearly earned the right to be a guy on our 53 we're really excited about.
We felt about Carson Wentz kind of just getting caught up to speed on the offense and the time to time.
Yeah, it's been impressive. I knew how smart he was. I knew there would be some kind of connection points for him with some of the places he's been, specifically LA, but then also just his year in Kansas City with Pat and Coach Reed there. He's just been coached really well, and he's a smart guy. And then when you apply just learning new things, the beauty of it is, like before when we've had guys come in, in a short amount of time, there's a game plan. There is a certain amount of things we're asking our guys to do. We want to have a menu. We've got some things that are kind of, quote unquote, always in every phase of our offense. And you make sure that he knows those things. And then just like everybody else, just with a little less, kind of time on task, he's learning the game plan as we go. And I think that's one of the things that made Carson so intriguing was the idea of he's smart, he's experienced, he's played at a really high level in this league. Specifically, you're thinking about Monday Night Football. Like, he's played in Monday Night Football plenty of times and had some of his best games. I remember a couple against me when I was coaching in Washington. But the thing about it is the comfort level that he gives everyone with his poise at which he's able to learn and absorb the information. And then ultimately it's about figuring out the things as we do through the process every week with all of the quarterbacks, even Max, hey, what plays do you like? What plays do you maybe scratch your head out a little bit? And which ones do you want to feature if you were to go in the game? And it's my experience with it is normally it's a lot of those plays are the same plays. Then I get the red pen out and they go to the graveyard to be back next week or in 3 weeks with a new name and a new formation that hopefully they don't remember. But that's the honest truth there.
What did you expect from Dallas Turner in 2025?
Yeah, I think he's been one of those guys that I know I've tried to talk about a lot throughout the offseason, not only with you guys, but with our team even, of the improvement, the comfort level. His natural physical ability is clearly easy to see every single day. Jonathan Grenard and I talk about it all the time, just how physically talented he is. And now he's got time in the system. He's got really some great reps logged, from last year where he can build on that into the off-season program, into training camp. He's been a guy that time and time again has shown up. So we really do feel very fortunate to have that three-starter feel to that edge position with those three guys.
And this will be the first game that you've coached without C.J. Ham. I mean, what kind of adjustment is that on offense, special teams, and just throughout?
Yeah, I mean, CJ's been such a rock for our organization for so long before I was fortunate enough to be here. The best thing about CJ in this time is if you're not on the practice field, seeing the fact that he's not practicing, you would never know that he's not out there. How he is in meetings. I mean, even today, during when we're talking about plays and installing things, he's voicing some things to the other running backs, to maybe the tight ends, and then he is clearly a player that his teammates look to give them confidence, to solidify what we're all about as an organization. And I can't wait to get him back. And he's on the road to coming back healthy, 100%, and helping us sooner rather than later.
But if you look at the records of the teams that JJ has been on going back to high school, I mean, they've won almost all of their games. And, I know there's a lot of things that always go into that, but what do you think it is about him what part do you think he plays in that kind of extended success, whether it's personality traits or just the way he plays or the way he is, or just happen to be on a lot of great teams?
Yeah, I would not discount the fact that a lot of the times when, JJ, whatever team he's been on, tends to be a good version of himself on game day. And there's a lot of guys that are talented. There's a lot of guys that can, light up the practice field every day. But the guys that can either take it to the game or maybe even be a better version of themselves in the game, have those, the gamer, whatever tag you want to put on it. I think he's got that trait. I think it's important he doesn't just solely rely on that trait showing up to Soldier Field. I think he pairs that with the work that he puts in throughout the week so that he's comfortable. And then, it's going to be his first start, in the NFL. I'm very much aware of that. He's aware of that. We're all aware of that. But that doesn't mean we put a ceiling over him. And at the same time, that doesn't mean because of all that success throughout his football journey, we raise the floor either. I want him focusing on the little details of doing his job against a really good defense. We're going to make some plays. They're going to make some plays. The ebbs and flows of the game. It's just, on to the next snap and start banking some of this experience and using it for your benefit moving forward.
Kevin, is Darisaw 100%? Does he look like he was before the injury?
Yeah, he looks really good. He's consistently, I think he surprised even himself early on in training camp as we began that kind of really crafted plan by Tyler and the doctors and Christian himself. I think in the moment he has, had some really, really good progression days where we've been able to stack it up. And we're in game week now, and he's going to take a lot of reps today, if not all of them. And then we'll see how he feels, and we'll see ultimately Christian's such an important player to our team that we want to make sure that we're smart about the plan, but also, I think he's earned the right to, by all the things he's done, Mark, that, there's no reason to make the decision for any other reason than what's best for CD, and he's going to be heavily involved in that.
So evaluating, like you said to Kevin's question, it's just a matter, he's getting more reps in practice, and you have to be sure.
I think reps are fine. It's more so just about knowing we've got 17 games, including a short week next week, and then ultimately, our trip overseas. Like, there's got to be a big picture mindset to a player of Christian's caliber, where this game, all that matters is this game to the Minnesota Vikings Monday night in Chicago. But so our jobs are to make sure we're doing what's best for the team, for the greater duration of 17 plus games. And what that means for Monday night, I don't know as of right now. I just know what my eyes have shown me, what Christian's demonstrated, have given us through a really calculated plan a good possibility of Monday night.
Is there anything you've gleaned from the rebuild of your interior offensive and defensive line that helps prepare for another team that did quite a bit of work on both those sides?
Yeah, I think the one thing we've seen is we had a lot of really good work, competitive work against each other, and that's not just in the competitive 11-on-11s. That's doing crossover work with each other. That's working one-on-one pass rush every day. That's working the inside run drill. That's seeing the physicality and the play style of those guys come to life, while me emphasizing it to our whole team on a daily basis has been fun to see guys that we really targeted for purposeful reasons, and then the best part's been just seeing it come together. But seen that whole group out there on either side yet. This season, even in the preseason, we saw it a little bit in the joint practices and liked what we saw, but this is going to be real football, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Last one. Deb, what's the sense you get on how eager Justin is to kind of get back rolling after missing so much time?
Yeah, he's had, speaking specifically to the last few days and week and a half or so, he's had some great work, and what I love the best about where he's at right now is I think he really capitalized on that time. It wasn't just in recovery mode and getting back to a certain baseline. He elevated that baseline by getting.
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
Nope. Is that it?
For him, but conversations that him and I have had have been very positive about how he feels, and then also it's he's one of our more experienced players in the system since we arrived here, and so much of it is is about Justin and where he aligns and how that affects everybody else and how it affects the other 11 on the other side as well, which gives us confidence. We've week 1 a lot of times is about it's a lot of times it's fundamentals over scheme. It's play style over scheme because of the unscouted looks. Specifically to Justin, every week feels to me, whether we've scouted or not, which we tend to try to do, there's unscouted looks. And we know that, we've seen that, and we've experienced that. So I think Justin at this point, just feels great about being back out there with his teammates full and running and moving and catching the way he's been. It's been really encouraging.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Coach sounds nervous to me, Tenneby. There's some trepidation in his voice. Let's take a break. We'll come back. That's the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. Our reaction to all of the news conference action and the legendary Mark Rosen. Next, Common Man program on the Fan.
Life's messy. We're talking spills, stains, pets, and kids. But with Anabe, you never have to stress about messes again. At WashableSofas.com, discover Anabe sofas, the only fully machine-washable sofas inside and out, starting at just $699. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics. That means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Visit WashableSofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.